Yes, and here we are again. Great. Let's start with Module 1. Remember, Module 1 is about management of customer care and not management as it is. So there's much detail that you do not need to know for this specific module. So first, we start off with this question. Name the place with the worst possible customer care experience you had. Please put that on your discussion board, and that would be quite interesting if when you do that. Definitions that you need to know for this course and that will be used during the time is firstly customer care. Uh, Customer care means how well customers are taken care of. And it's really about that emotional connection. And that is why this whole workshop is also based on the fact that the human side in customer care is the most vital part. And that's why there's so many modules that also speaks to the human side. Customer service is what we give to the customer, our advice, our assistance, anything that they would like, anything that they need, that's what we give to them. And then of course the customer experience is the totality of the journey with the customer. So that includes customer care and customer service. So when we get to management, you know it's the four basic management functions. I'm going to very briefly go through them. The basics of planning would then be to identify the set goals and objectives, to develop a strategy, to make sure that what we've planned, we set out to do that. It's basically a blueprint, a roadmap, a guide to which resources, which activities or tasks, which schedules, which actions are we going to take to reach our target. Um, Something that I need to just make sure that you do understand is the SMART goals, and the majority of people know the SMART goals. I'm not always sure if people know how to apply the SMART goals, but yes, let's quickly go through this. As when you're going to look at customer care and you would identify a problem, you are going to set a goal for yourself how to achieve that problem. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, or action-orientated, realistic, and time-bound. So specific means exactly what must you do. Measurable would be in time or in quantity, depending on what you can measure, and then the action is what you're going to do. Or some people use attainable there. Is it possible to do it? And then realistic, is it possible? Is it realistic to set that target in the time and the resources that we've got? So it might be attainable, but not realistic. And then time bound would be how long do you set your target for? So answer telephone within 3 rings during working hours is a very common SMART goal for customer care. I'm not sure if we stick to that, but basically when people are office bound and they work with their telephones, they basically must within 3 rings answer that phone. So is it a SMART goal? Yes, because it is specific. You must answer. What must you answer specifically? The telephone. Measurable within 3 rings, and it is realistic if the phone is in the office where the person is working. If the phone is not in the office, then it might not be realistic. And then, of course, the time bound is within working hours. It means that people must answer their phone within 3 working rings, 3 rings within working hours. So that's a great example for you to think of. The planning process, you can run through it. It's all about first finding out what do you want to achieve and then plan to reach it. The second management function that's applicable to customer care is organizing. And that's basically the ability to institute orderly uses for all resources. And that includes people and then obviously things and money. It's also the structured working relationship, which means your organogram or your staff setup, how everything must be put together. If you must, for instance, give a certain customer service in a specific time. Let's say you are in Woolworths and they say that if you are 5 minutes in the queue, if you're longer than 5 minutes waiting in the queue to be served at the pay point, then somebody will come and you can then call the manager and they will then handle the situation. But if you do not have enough staff working, so you didn't organize that there's enough staff, then people will obviously wait longer than 5 minutes. So that's why it's important to realize that organizing to achieve customer care means you cannot set customer goals. You cannot promise customers anything if you are not organized in that manner. Then our organizational structure, oops, is what I just explained to you, so nothing more to that. There's just an interesting point from MoneyWeb where it is found that artisans are paid as much as managers with a BCom or an MBA, and IT managers with a BSc degree. So that's actually quite interesting if you think of the perception that people has got in their minds. So there's currently in South Africa a shortage of technical workers and an oversupply of elementary workers. So what does this tell us? When you go and you take in your vehicle or you've got a problem with maintenance somewhere, you're going to wait. The customer service is going to be bad. Why? Because there's not enough staff. So it's important that we realize that if we're in a service industry, that we have enough staff and that we organize them correctly. Many examples that you can think of where on the one side of a workplace there's lots of people and they do nothing, and on the other side there's long queues and people cannot get past because they are stuck. There's not enough people working there. So yeah, think of more examples. Leadership is then, or leading is then the third management function that's applicable, and we can make as much as possible plans. We can have the perfect staff complement. We can organize our resources. But if somebody is not going to move staff from point A to point B, from not serving to serving, then we've got problems. So yes, leading is the ability to influence people to do what they're supposed to do, to move from not achieving to achieving. And that is then at the end a vital part of any customer service, is that managers make sure that their staff is willing to work. And influence doesn't always mean hit them over the head. Influence can mean to motivate them in a special way. And that is then an online workshop for another day. The difference between management and leadership is fairly simple. I've heard many people saying that managers are bosses and leaders are these wonderful visionary people. Sure, we can argue that, but at the end of the day, management is a position and you are appointed in that management position. And the moment you get money for a position in management, you are responsible for the 4 management functions, which is planning, organizing, leading, and control. And one of those is then basically leading. So you are responsible to lead. You're getting paid to lead. So a manager must also be a leader. And the leader, on the other hand, can be somebody that's not being paid. It can be somebody that's got such great ability to influence people to move from point A to point B, and they might not even be in a management position. So yes, managers get paid to lead, but leaders can be people that just use their natural ability to move people. Yes, please go through the perspectives of leadership. I love the situational perspective where we use our analytical skills and basically analyze what is the best way to lead people. Control is the 4th management function, and yes, check is basically checkpoints to see if we met our goals, make sure we reach our targets. There's different types of controls. Please go through that, very interesting. And then there's one of your essential knowledge questions. What is the vision of your organization? So you have to go find your vision of your organization. I'm sure you know what your vision of your organization is. And then also you must now take that vision and say, but what is the link between customer care and our vision? So if our vision is service orientated or product orientated, are we really giving that to our customers? Because if we're not, so please talk about that or discuss that in your assess your knowledge question. And then the last question, determine what is the role of supervisors and managers on the identified problem. So earlier on you will see in your online discussions, you must identify customer care problem. So then you have to say, but what's the role of supervisors? So would it be that supervisors are not planning, are not organizing, are not leading, who knows, or not controlling? Or is it the systems problem? So this is all the things that you have to look at and please discuss there. Cannot wait basically to see what you've got. Then you will see part of your assess your knowledge question is to do a situational analysis. And there's a video on that, but just quickly, the basics of situational analysis is where you basically compare the current situation with the preferred situation. So what is the current situation? We have got 20 customer or 30 customer complaints a day. That's your current situation. And we only get 10 compliments a day. So what is your preferred situation? Obviously, your preferred situation is to get one complaint a day because it's realistic, people. There will always be complaints. But it is 30 complaints a day is for sure something is major wrong. So one complaint a day might be a realistic preferred situation, and 30 compliments, that would be a much better preferred situation. And perhaps even increase sales due to the customer experience that people have got. So when you do a situational analysis, you have to determine what is the current problem. And the problem will help you if you put it in measurable terms. So find something in your organization which is a customer problem and try to measure that. See how much or how long or something measurable can you determine then out of your situational analysis. Those of you that knows a lot about the SWOT analysis, the PESTEL, obviously you use all of these in situational analysis. On this level, we only need you to go and research in your own organization a problem, see if you can determine it measurable, but it must be related to customer experience, customer service or care specifically. So go and see your department on customer care and hear what they've got, if they've got any information. And then ask the question, what should it be? What is the preferred situation? So good luck with that. I'm also excited to mark and see what you've discovered in your organization. The next part of that question would then be related to risk management, and the question would be, what would be the impact and the likelihood if we keep this as it is? So if we stay, let's say there is 30 customer complaints a day, and we assume, according to the newest research, which you will also find in some of the videos that you're watching, that people would tell nowadays with social media, average of 17 people if they are unhappy with customer care. So now you can imagine if you have 30 complaints, how many people has been told about that? So what we get is a little bit of the iceberg and not the whole story. So go and do the risk management by asking yourself, what is the likelihood that the customer will share this information? And then what is the impact if they do share this information? So there you will see the matrix for the risk management, and how it basically works is that we've got an impact and a likelihood. So you would then give yourself a score from 1 to 5 and say, what is the impact of, let me quickly show you, sorry, so I'm too fast. So if you give yourself a 1 on likelihood, it means that it will almost never occur. The likelihood, the chance that they will tell another customer, for instance, or another person of the bad experience is a 1. But if a 2 is low, a 3 is medium, a 4 is high, a 5 is maximum. But if you give yourself a 5, then it means that there's almost certain that somebody would go and tell 17 other people of their bad experience in your organization. So yes, there's your 1 to 5. You choose what's the likelihood. The impact would be how detrimental will this be to your company if a customer one of the 30 who complained, basically go and share this information with other people. So if it's a 1, it's really minimum. There's basically no cost impact, nothing would happen. If it's a 2, it's significant, so there might be a cost increase or a loss of income that is smaller than 10%. If it's a 3, it's major. The cost loss will be more than 10%. If it's critical, it will be more than 20%. And if it's 5, it's catastrophic. It means it can lead to the termination of the project or even the company. So you must basically go and look at that customer care problem and ask yourself the question, what is the likelihood, 1 to 5, that this person will share it with other people? So let's make it 5, because the likelihood is quite high with social media nowadays. And then you have to say, but what's the impact? If 30 people complain a day, and we times that by, let's say, the average, according to research, 17 people. How much will that impact on the clients that would come to your company, to your organization? So if that 17 people would have used your service or your product, now they've got a negative assumption about it. So now it's going to have a great impact. So is that impact less than 10%, between 10 and 20, or will it be catastrophic? That is what you will have to do research. And again, I'm quite excited to see what comes out of that. So do a situational analysis and then a risk assessment to determine if that problem is so big, if it's in the yellow or in the red, then we might say we do not have a choice. We have to solve this problem. If it's in the green, then we say, no need to put any money or time into solving the customer care problem. Great. If I was now in front of you, I would have asked any questions now. Cool. And here we've got, I hope you can see, there's your questions that you will find, and you must use basically those questions in your assess your knowledge. Yes. Then we also ask, one of the questions in your assess your knowledge or discussion board questions would be identify trends. So find out, do research, go and interview people and find out what is the trends that's currently going along, what are people complaining about, what is the trends of customers, what are they looking differently at. If we just think of lockdown, for sure now online shopping is boom. The trend is now all online shopping. And what if you would be in online shopping, you would look at the trends as what are customers complaining? Is it about quality of product, or is it about how quick the delivery will be? That type of thing. So look at those trends. Go also and look at what's management role in customer care problems. So if the trend is, let's say, people are complaining about bad products, is it because of management, because of the planning, organizing, leading and control problem, or is it because of something totally different, that our suppliers are not managed? Which means everything, we always bring it back to management, don't we? And then are the trends different in different sectors? So please go and interview people that is not in the same sector than you are, and hear what is the trends as to customers in their sector, and share that with me. Now, yeah, thank you very much. I hope that you've got a great learning experience, and that you would be strongly involved in this module. See you in module 2.